Hi and welcome to the Jem Hawkes YouTube channel. I hope you're having a great day today. For this video today, we're going to talk about the top 10 things I wish I had known about creating jewellery with wire before I started. Without further ado, let's head down to the board and I'll take you through my top 10 tips. Number 1. When you get your wire, it's likely to be cool and to have been stored in a circle for a very long time. So what we're going to do is straighten that wire and warm it through. I have a piece of raw copper, which is 1mm gauge or 18 gauge. Once you warm that through, you can ask your wire to do a lot more, whether that's making swoopy swirls or repeatable forms. If you don't warm the wire first, it can misbehave slightly. Tip number 2 is understanding your pliers. Investing in a very good pair of flush cutters will elevate your wire work far more than almost any other tool. The difference between round nose pliers, where each of those pins are cylindrical, and flat facing pliers will also help you. It is a different tool for a different job when you're trying to bend some wire. If you do that with some flat facing pliers, these are my bent chain nose pliers, you'll get a really good angle. If you try to achieve that same thing using round nose pliers, you can weaken the wire and you can mark the wire. So understand which tool is the right tool for the job. Tension and force are not the same thing. If you handle the wire very roughly, you're going to end up with fairly dodgy angles. But if you are kinder to your wire, you will find that it is much kinder in return, especially when you're weaving a light wire on another base wire. So if you are able to control the flow of the wire rather than pulling it really hard, you will find that your wire wrapping is much neater. Pick the winning face. So not all wraps are created equal. Some will look very different on the underside as how they look on the top, and sometimes the rear of a design isn't going to be quite as pretty as the front, so sometimes you will need to pick the winning face. One of the easiest ways to look like a pro is to ensure that you don't have any gaps in your wrapping. It's very easy to be fast and to just spin around your base wire with your wrapping wire, and you end up with all these gaps. The simple answer to this is to slow down. However, another way that you can achieve a really professional looking wrap is to go for 2 or 3 turns of that wire, scoot it up. Now I just use my nails, but you could use pliers if you prefer. 2 or 3 wraps, scoot it up. You could also be very deliberate, but what we don't want to do is to make the fine wire, the wrapping wire, brittle by overhandling it. So you've got choices, but make sure that you don't leave any baggy gaps in your wraps. More wire is always better than not enough wire. If you run out of your finer gauge wire part the way through a wrap, you can potentially add another piece on. However, you'll always know where that join is and your eye will be drawn to it. So even if I very carefully tighten up these 2 separate wraps, smooth down the end and push them together, I will always be able to see the join. So if you allow extra wire for your projects, you won't get caught short, so to speak. When you're weaving or wrapping with wire, you can find that you get tired wrists. Now, I have arthritis in one of my wrists and a couple of my fingers, and sometimes I will find that I reach a point of exhaustion and I have to put it down and walk away. That's absolutely fine. However, one thing that you can do to help increase the longevity of your wrapping time is not do all of the work with one wrist. So here I'm doing all the work with my right hand. What you can do is a little bit with both. Allow the pliers to take the strain. Smaller movements will actually equal smoother wraps anyway. So take your time, slow down, and allow your tools to work for you. A really easy mistake to make when you first start wrapping is to get excited by what you're creating and not be mindful enough of the little touches. So let's say we have woven with our finer gauge wire, in this case it's a 0.6 or 22 gauge. What I might have done 13 years ago is leave the work like this. But what I now know is that the little touches, the little extra moments here and there make all the difference. So tuck away those ends. Make sure you're always cutting with the flush side of your cutters, and your work will be instantly elevated and you will look significantly more professional from the get-go. When you start out wrapping with wire, it's perfectly acceptable to go for a less expensive wire. It can be quite a wasteful in terms of materials project when you start out. So go get your crafting wire, go get your low cost wire, perhaps even from the garden centre, or reclaimed wire, until you find your feet just a little bit. Because even this, which is the lowest cost of my wires in stock at the moment, which is a coated copper core wire, it's still quite expensive. So whilst no project is actually wasteful because you're always learning, it does pay to practice with the lower cost wires before you move up to your raw coppers, your silver filled, your silvers, or anything more expensive. My final tip for you today is that stress equals mess. Set aside some time to get to know working with wire, to understand how the wire is best going to work for you, and to really get a feel for your tools and the gauge of wire you're using. So if it's stressing you out, put it down and walk away. It will still be there when you come back to it. I have a bonus tip for you. So in addition to everything that I've mentioned before, there's something that's really important to understand before you pick up your pliers and your wire and get down to it. You are not the same as everyone else. You have a different set of home circumstances. You have a different set of physical constraints. So try not to compare yourself to other people, no matter if they pick up the pliers one day and the next day they're producing a masterpiece. Doesn't matter. You have to do you. And every time you create something, it's a lesson. Whether or not that something becomes a wearable piece of jewellery, or whether it goes into the round receptacle on the desk entitled "I learnt something," it doesn't matter. You learn at your own pace and you progress at your own pace. So please be kind, be mindful of your body telling you that you need to take a break, and also enjoy the process. I hope that you have enjoyed those. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you found these top 10 tips really useful. If there's anything you'd like to see me demonstrate on a future tutorial video, please drop me a comment down below. Have the most wonderful day, and thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.